What is going on? My name is Yasin. In case you're new to this channel, I usually make combo videos, deck profiles, testing, card reviews, etc. And today I will be making a combo video and a deck profile at the same time in the same video. So if this is the kind of content you are interested in, make sure you like and subscribe because I'll always keep making them. And yeah, let's jump into combo number 1 for the Salamangreat deck. So this isn't really much of a combo, it's just the worst case scenario when your hand is pretty bad but you still have to apply some form of pressure when you're going second maybe. A single Jaguar can get you a 5300 attack monster that can pop up to 3 cards your opponent controls without targeting, which is pretty good considering the fact that we had to break on like a pretty bad card in order to get there. So yeah, you just go for the Splash Mage and then the Transcode Talker to revive back the Splash Mage and then go into the Access Code. It really is that simple. Yeah, it's not like it was a combo, but it's a combo. Anyways, now let's get into the more interesting real combos. Okay, so for this combo, let's just assume that you use the card that your opponent had ashed, or you didn't even have this card, or your opponent already had a fire monster in the graveyard that would facilitate things quite well. You know, what can you do with two not really good cards? Like Spinny and Jaguar doesn't really combo, right? And you can't really go for the Access Code that can attack twice, because yes, you can easily make an Access Code Talker that can attack twice by using Update Jammer as a link material with Transcode Talker, but in this situation, it won't really work because once you pop that Shizuku, the Ray is going to come back and then make a Kaina and prevent the Access Code from attacking, so we won't really generate any form of pressure on the opponent, and next turn we're just gonna die because he was able to stack Engage. And this doesn't just apply for, I don't know, let's just say Sky Striker. It applies for literally every single deck that can make a monster that protects themselves, you know, from cards like Access Code Talker, which would destroy cards and inflict a lot of damage, obviously, because it has 5300 attack and can attack twice. So this is a not good hand, and what can we do without Gazelle access? We can do quite a lot, don't worry. So you can make that Veilings right now, get that Sanctuary, and then activate it. And then, unfortunately, we have to relink that Veilings right now. Really unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. And then get back the Jaguar. Now, this is really interesting. We're gonna make the Hita, and we're going to be reviving back the Ash from our opponent's graveyard, or any fire attribute, as I said. So if you're playing against Sky Striker, we don't even have to rely on Ash being in the graveyard. The Kagari would probably work at this point. Well, actually, yeah, it would work, but assuming that it wasn't summoned off of the effective ray, so if it was properly summoned. Now, even if our opponent's monster is stronger than us, the Hita can still crash on it because the Sanctuary actually has a really neat effect. This is one of the only situations in the entire world where its other weird passive effect comes, well, not passive effect, actually, it's a trigger effect. It's going to come up because we're going to be able to get that Hita down to 0 attack, and then obviously crash, so we pay 1000, we gain 1850, and then we crash losing another 1500, but when Hita dies from battle or by card effect, by opponent's card effect, we can search a monster, a fire monster with 1500 or less defense from a deck to our hand, and Gazelle just happens to have 1000 defense, so we can search it with the Hita. And during our main phase 2, so we did have to give up our battle phase to do that, but if we really wanted to have a battle phase, like I said, all we really would have had at our disposal would have been the Access Code OTK, which isn't too great in this instance. So we're going to use the effect of Spinny in order to boost pretty much any monster on the field by 500 attack, and that's going to be triggering the effect of Gazelle, which is going to be Foolishing for Rage or Roar, or even Whale, for that matter. Doesn't really change anything at this point. Basically, just anything that you want to get back. Revive back that Spinny, and then make the Mirage Stallion. Actually, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. You definitely could be using your own Gazelle, but if it's an Ash, it's even better because we can keep that Gazelle on the field, and we're going to be able to bounce it back with the effect of Falco. Now we're going to make the Sunlight Wolf. We could technically use the effect of Mirage Stallion to bounce back a card on the field. If we bounce back the Shizuku, it's actually going to help the opponent because of the Ray. So yeah, now we're just bouncing back our Gazelle in order to get like an extra +1, but it technically isn't really that needed, and that's going to be triggering the effect of Sunlight Wolf in order to get another fire attribute. So if we had the Ash on our opponent's turn, we would technically be getting back the Ash and then getting back the Gazelle, and that Sunlight Wolf is going to get back the Roar or Rage or the Whale in order to revive back one monster, but well, actually 2 monster, yeah, that's true, because this wasn't relinked using Sanctuary, but rather Sunlight Wolf and another fire, so we could revive back 2 monsters and then make, like, I don't know, Appaloosa or something like that, but in this situation, it's not really good. I'd rather have, like, a Roar or Rage, so I can negate something or destroy cards, and we still have Gazelle, which is really, really nice, but let's get into combo number 3. Okay, look at this hand very carefully. What do you think this hand can actually achieve? A lot, and depending on what we draw with Buffalo, even more, but spoiler alert, we're not gonna draw any cards that are going to help our combo even more. Every card that we draw right now are just going to be surplus interruptions that aren't relevant whatsoever. Like Ash and Salamangreat Rage, whatever, you can just forget about them. This is a guarantee every single time you have a hand like this. Obviously, it's pretty stacked, so it is a really good hand. But yeah, I mean, in this situation, you're going to have that Foxy effect engraved to pitch the Jaguar, so that's the kind of play that you can do when you just have a bunch of Salamangreat monsters. You go normal summon Foxy, no effect, and then make Veilings, and then use the effect in the grave. Or with Buffalo, it's even better because you get that Foxy in the grave literally to draw 2, instead of just using it as a material for Foxy. So Buffalo is the superior normal summon in the Salamangreat deck. But yeah, now we're going to use the effect of Spinny and then revive it back. Spinny has an in-hand effect to boost a monster by 500, by the way. Also happens to be an out to Winda, in case you were scared of this monster, the Shuttle Fusion Floodgate. But yeah, anyways, Mirage Talio going to summon that Gazelle, of course, so you always have access to Gazelle. You don't need to hard draw it, or draw Circle, or Sighted Mining, or Debug. Debug is just, man, just play Buffalo, it's better. You're going to be Foolishing for Whale, since we already have Rage or Roar, but if you had Whale, then you would have been Foolishing for the missing piece. And you're going to relink the Wolf, and then recycle back the Whale, and you're going to go Jaguar, get back a Wolf in the extra deck, and then will revive back 2 monsters from the grave, and I think you see where this is going. We have 4 monsters with different names, and an already relinked monster, so we can make Appaloosa for 4, which is gigantic, and recycle back a fire from your graveyard. So we have Big Sunlight Wolf. This does allow the Rage to pop 2 cards without targeting. In Appaloosa for 4, with Roar and Gazelle, and obviously, it's, well, I mean, okay, yeah, these 2 cards, like I said, they don't matter, but if you drew, you could have drawn like 2 Gem Knight Garnet with the Buffalo, and you still would have had the Appaloosa for 4, something, like, I don't know, the other card, and then the Gazelle would be a guarantee, of course. So I think this is a pretty nice combo, but let's get into the deck profile now. Yep, this is the deck profile. So we have 2 Jaguar, of course. It's a pretty good normal summon, or I want to say it's probably the best card to discard off of Foxy and Signet Mining, as well as Salamangreat Spinny, of course. But yeah, this card is just really, really good. It's because of Jaguar that you have an infinite grind game, obviously, because otherwise you would have to recycle back cards that you don't really want to recycle back with Sunlight Wolf. But this allows you to just always have that gas. So yeah, if Jaguar dies, this deck is going to die, but Jaguar will probably never die. Gazelle might get banned, but not this card. And the current moment, there's no reason to ban any Salamangreat cards. The deck isn't like degenerate. It's really strong. It's definitely a meta contender, but not like super problematic. Anyways, 1 Falco, this card is really good. It has 2 really relevant effects. Even Jaguar has like a relevant effect that people don't really know. Deals piercing damage, which is funny. But Falco in the graveyard, you can bounce back a Salamangreat monster from your grave to your hand, and then return back the special summon back the Falco. Or if it's sent to the graveyard, you can set 1 Salamangreat spell or trap from your graveyard to your field, but you can only use 1 effect per turn and only once that turn, so it kind of is bait in a way. Yeah, 1 Gazelle, triple Foxy, triple Spinny. I've seen some people play only 2 Foxy, 2 Spinny. That definitely makes sense, but I'm playing the Buffalo build, so discarding these cards is actually really good. But if you're playing Debug, then these cards are going to be, well, the Foxy is going to be a bit brickier, the Spinny, no. Debug Spinny is good, but Debug Foxy is not good. It's like 2 normal summons. And obviously you want to go for normal summon Debug, not normal summon Foxy, unless you're trying to go normal, no effects, so you dodge Veiler, but then the Mirage Talio is going to get Veilered anyways, so it's like, what are you doing? You might as well just stack up the resources with Buffalo. This card's much better, and also it doesn't discard for cost, which is also kind of relevant, and you can chain block, so it never loses to Ash, and the Veilings is like in Chainlink 2, so what are they gonna do? Ash the Veilings? Sure, thank you. You just hand loop yourself for 1 card, and I'm drawing 2 still, so nice deck. But yeah, Salamangreat Circle with Salamangreat Sanctuary double whale. I think this is, yeah, just perfection. Obviously this is limited, unfortunately, and the Sanctuary is not a card that you're trying to draw, whereas Whale, if you're drawing too many, it's not really good anymore, but you still want to play, you know, more than 1 because it's a good card to draw. And then 1 Rage, 1 Roar, very debatable if you want to play more. They're really good cards, so if you're playing 2 of each, it makes sense, but I'm trying to play a lot of hand shops so the Crossout Designator can cover more cards, and obviously triple Signet Mining, that 1 of Nibiru, so you don't lose to Nibiru with Crossout Designator. It's not really because you're necessarily trying to hit your opponent. As a matter of fact, you don't even want to draw this card most of the time because you just need it in your deck in order to banish it with Crossout, as I said. Triple Ash, which is the best card to draw early game in Salamangreat, because once you draw it, it becomes one of those other interruptions that you can constantly loop with, you know, Rage and Roar, thanks to Sunlight Wolf, since it's a fire attribute. Very convenient, and it's a level 3. Anyways, 2 Ghost Bell, you can agree Revolt with it, Imperm, not once per turn, turn, pretty good. Veiler, also not once per turn. By playing Veiler and Imperm, you can cover both with cross out. So how many hand traps is that? 4, 6, 9, 11 hand traps. Not too bad. Call to the Grave, Upstart, and double Desires, or you can play triple Desires with 0 Upstart, or if you want to play 41, you could also do that. I think for the most part, this deck list is pretty solid. There's always room for improvement, right? And obviously the 3 cross out. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. For the extra deck, I also don't have much to say. So the Abyss Dweller, the rank 4 of choice. There's also Baguska, and the other rank 4s aren't really worth it. It really is between Dweller and Baguska. If you're playing Rafflesia, watch out, because you can't really use its effect to send the Gravedigger's Hole if you used Mirage Talus before, because this locks you under fire for the rest of the turn, which is kind of rough. Fire effects only. Salamangreat, Mirage Talus, of course, access code, Appaloosa, transcode, update Jammer, Phoenix, Hita, triple Sunlight Wolf, Splash Mage. I featured a combo using pretty much every single card, and then triple Veilings. Now for the side deck, the random Nibiru, there's no logic behind it, it's just whatever, play any card. Triple Lancia is just a good hand shop, why not, right? Triple Droll, this is good against just a lot of decks, so I think I'm down. The Harpy's Feather Duster, double Anti-Spell and Pearl Order so we don't lose against Sky Striker and those other spell-heavy decks. Rivalry is great, it's so good against so many decks, and even when you get a hand shop to death on turn 1, you have Rivalry, your opponent is also going to pass, and you can protect it with Roar, so Floodgates in this deck are even better than Floodgates in other decks, because you have a searchable Omni Negate in the form of Roar that your opponent can't really do much about. And last but definitely not least is Red Reboot, because if you're going second against trap decks, you can reboot and then OTK your opponent with literally just 2 monsters by going for the Update Jammer, Transcode, Access Code, OTK, as pretty much everyone should already know, unless you're new at the game. But if you do need clarification with that OTK, either ask in the comment section below, or go watch my previous Salamangreat combo videos. I usually feature that combo every single time. But that's pretty much it for this combo video and deck profile. If you guys appreciated what I done today, make sure you like and subscribe. Really helps me out a lot, and my channel. And yeah, thank you very much. I will see you next time. Peace.